meeting, may I request the corporate secretary to please certify on the sending of notices to the stockholders and to the existence of a quorum for this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I hereby certify that notice of this meeting has been sent to the stockholders of record as of April 14, 2020, through the following methods: by publication in the Philippine Star and the Philippine Daily Inquirer for 2 consecutive days in both online and print formats, by posting on the website of the corporation, and by disclosure to the Philippine Stock Exchange. Thus, the stockholders have been notified of this meeting in compliance with applicable rules and regulations. I hereby certify that there are present in this meeting, via remote communication or by proxy, stockholders entitled to vote representing 83.50% of the corporation's total outstanding shares, and that this meeting is therefore competent to transact the business provided for in the agenda. A quorum is present, Mr. Chairman.
There being a quorum, the annual meeting of the stockholders of Robinsons Retail Holdings is hereby called to order. May I request the corporate secretary to share with us the rules and procedures for this meeting.
The rules and procedures are set forth in the definitive information statement and in the explanation of agenda items integrated into the notice of this meeting. All tabulation results for this meeting are subject to validation by CICID Corres Vilayo and Company. For the information of the stockholders who are with us now during this broadcast, the corporation has requested stockholders to send their questions or comments by email. Questions which were received by May 7, 2020 have been collated, and selected questions will be answered later on. The corporation will reply to the questions and comments not taken up during this meeting through email.
Let us now proceed to the next item in the agenda, the approval of the minutes of the 2019 annual meeting of the stockholders. May I call on the corporate secretary to present the results of voting for this agenda item.
Mr. Chairman, copies of the minutes have been distributed to the stockholders by providing the link to the said minutes in the information statement and by showing the QR code on the screen prior to the meeting. The minutes have been approved as submitted by votes representing 81.59% of the total outstanding shares of the corporation.
Thank you. The minutes are hereby approved as presented. Moving on to the next item, the agenda, may I now call on Ms. Robina Gokongwei-Pe, President and Chief Executive Officer of the corporation, to present her report together with the audited financial statements for the preceding fiscal year. Ms. President.
Good afternoon to our various stakeholders, partners, colleagues, and friends from the media. Thank you for being part of Robinsons Retail Holdings' first virtual annual stockholders meeting. I hope that you and your family are safe and healthy as we face the challenges of the global pandemic that is COVID-19. These are indeed trying times, which entails adjusting to the new normal of social distancing and taking extra precautions while in community quarantine. Now, more than ever, we salute our frontliners who give a sense of normalcy to our customers during these unusual circumstances, and the health workers whose efforts now save countless lives. To protect and assist our frontliners while they fulfill their duties, we implemented measures to sanitize work areas, require the usage of masks within work premises, and provided incentive allowances, transportation, and lodging for them. For other employees rendering support services, we also implemented systematic and quick responses to ensure their safety, such as operating on skeletal force and work-from-home arrangements. Along with stringent efforts to make products crucially available and accessible, we are also finding ways to serve communities and assist the health sector to further address the pandemic. Our various retail formats have shown support to hospital health workers and communities through material donations ranging from food and grocery items, medical supplies, personal protective equipment, sanitation, and general supplies. Together, through resilience and unity, we believe we will rise above the challenges in this crisis. Let me now present the company's key financial results for the full year 2019 and the first quarter of 2020, including recent developments, our plans and prospects this year, and some austerity measures in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd like to highlight three major factors that impacted our earnings over the last 15 months. One, Rustan saw a complete turnaround in profitability within 1 year of acquisition, coming from negative EBIT in 2018 to EBIT positive for the full year 2019. We see this as a result of robust consumption and successful integration with Robinsons Supermarket. Second, effective January 1, 2019, we adopted the Philippine Financial Reporting Standard 16, or PFRS 16, on the accounting of leases, where right-of-use assets is recognized for existing lease contracts to be amortized over the lease term, while lease liability is recognized for future lease payments. PFRS 16 adjustments, however, are non-cash and have no effect on cash flow. Third, starting March 17, 2020, only our supermarkets, convenience stores, and drugstores, which comprise 3/4 of our total business, were allowed to operate by the government under Enhanced Community Quarantine, or ECQ. The discretionary formats were only allowed to operate starting May 1, 2020 under the General Community Quarantine, or GCQ guidelines. As of end March 2020, our store network stood at 1,891 stores, consisting of 262 supermarkets, 49 department stores, 223 DIY stores, 511 convenience stores, 518 South Star drug stores, and 328 specialty stores, including the 2007 franchise branches of our drugstore TGP. The group's store network totaled 3,898 stores. Up to 40% of our stores, excluding TGP, were temporarily closed during the ECQ period. Some of these have already reopened upon the implementation of the more relaxed GCQ. All distribution centers catering to our essential formats remain to be fully operational during the ECQ, while the DCs of the discretionary formats partially resumed operations in line with the GCQ rules. Robinsons Retail managed to sustain growth at healthy levels within our key performance indicators. Consolidated net sales grew by 22.8% to 162.9 billion for the full year 2019, while same-store sales growth was stable and within target at 3.4% in 2019, despite coming from a high base of 5.9% with the implementation of the tax reform law in 2018. Net sales for the first quarter of 2020 grew by 7.3% to 40.1 billion despite the temporary closure of our department stores, DIY stores, and specialty stores due to the ECQ in Metro Manila and Luzon. First quarter blended SSSG was strong at 6.9%, as evidenced by the high sales induced by panic buying for essential goods, most especially in March. Supermarkets generated a record high SSSG of 18.7%, and the drugstore segment sustained a double-digit growth of 13.7%. Mini-Stop's SSSG was negative 0.8% in the first quarter, while the blended SSSG of the three non-operating segments was negative 16.5%. Blended gross margin for full year 2019 improved by 30 basis points to 22.8%, attributable to the larger scale improvement in category mix in most segments and the full year consolidation of the higher margin Rustan business. First quarter gross margin compressed by 90 bps to 21.8%, primarily because of the temporarily closed stores with lower back-end margin due to limited advertising and promotions. 2019 EBITDA grew by 62.7% to 14.7 billion due to the adoption of the PFRS 16. Post-PFRS, EBITDA margin was sustained at 8.3% in the first quarter, cushioned by the essential formats, namely supermarkets, drugstores, and convenience stores, and the strong performance of Rustan. Net income attributable to equity holders of the parent company was down to 3.9 billion, with the net impact of PFRS 16 amounting to 1 billion in 2019. First quarter net income to parent company increased by 45% to 923 million. Turning to our balance sheet, Robinsons Retail remained solid with cash and cash equivalents of 18.5 billion plus liquid marketable securities of 11.5 billion for a total of 30 billion as of end March 2020. We are in a net cash position of 27.7 billion with borrowings of 2.3 billion. Our cash conversion cycle ending March 2020 turned positive at 5.6 days. Inventory days is down, coming from the holiday season, aggravated by sourcing disruptions due to the ECQ. Payable days declined as we capitalized on early payment to suppliers to augment margins. We spent 3.3 billion in capital expenditures in 2019 and 558 million for the first 3 months of 2020. We now move on to major developments we have achieved and significant partnerships we have strengthened over the past year. We opened the first no-brand store in Robinsons Galleria on November 22, 2019. No Brand is a hard discount store founded by South Korea's E-Mart Group. The store sells a wide array of low-priced private labels, primarily quality grocery items, frozen goods, and non-food. In 2019, Robinsons Bank, where Robinsons Retail has a 40% stake, launched the Robinsons Cashback Card, a co-branded credit card where customers can get up to 3% cashback on their purchases from Robinsons Retail stores. We also have a 40% stake in Data Analytics Ventures Inc., which aims to be instrumental to our digital transformation strategy. Davi, together with Robinsons Retail, now manages the Robinsons Rewards loyalty program. It is transformative in the way it magnifies our focus on data and science-driven decision-making across several aspects of our business. We likewise own 30% of Beauty MNL, the country's top e-commerce platform for beauty, health and wellness, cosmetics and personal care products and services, and 28.6% of Grocery, which empowers small business owners, serving as a convenient mobile-based replenishment solution for up to 21,000 sari-sari stores in 114 cities and municipalities as of end March 2020. We are seeing a spike in online traffic as some customers opt to stay at home and take advantage of convenient options that we provide. With 21 Robinsons supermarket stores currently activated, online grocery sales via third-party provider Metromart continue to gain significant traction, most especially during the ECQ. Last March 11, 2020, Southstar Drug responded to the call for online delivery and launched its own website on beta mode. Offering more than 3,200 SKUs, we started serving the cities of Pasig, Mandaluyong, and San Juan, and recently expanded in the cities of Makati and Taguig. As an expression of our thrust on embracing digitalization along sustainability, we continue to go paperless and published our colored 2019 annual report in our company website. We likewise launched a microsite so our stakeholders can easily navigate its contents. You may scan this QR code or visit www.robinsonsretailholdings.com.ph/annual report 2019 to view and download a copy of the full report. Moving forward, it is only prudent to revise some of our initial guidance for this year, given the uncertainty surrounding the impact of this pandemic to the Philippine economy and to our operations. We scaled down our store openings from 100 to 150 new stores to 60 to 100 new stores, earmarking 2 billion to 4 billion in capital expenditures for 2020. Our SSSG target is lower from 3% to 5% to a range of 0% to 3%. We expect blended gross margin to stay flat at best. We will continue to pursue M&A opportunities. The third phase of the Rustan integration may be delayed by 2 months to late third quarter, with focus on back-end systems, supply chain systems, and the conversion of the front-end systems of all Rustan stores. We also put together several austerity measures, preserve our cash liquidity, and to keep our stores running. We are slowing down our investments in new store openings, renovations, and IT projects. We have successfully renegotiated with our landlords for rent reprieve over a good number of our stores that were not allowed to operate during the ECQ. We are keeping inventory levels low. We also cut back on our non-essential advertising activities during this time. All these translate to savings of around 2 billion in working capital and operating expenses. These initiatives are constantly being re-evaluated. We will be flexible in making additional adjustments in view of the ECQ and GCQ guidelines. The company's performance for the rest of the year will depend on the duration, geographic extent, and effects of the virus, and more so the collective initiatives to mitigate its impacts. With the emergence of COVID-19 and its implications across various sectors, we will push further to safeguard the interests of our stakeholders. And we are committed to grow Robinsons Retail to new highs and continue to delight our customers. Once again, thank you for joining this meeting and keep safe, everyone.
Thank you. May I call on the Corporate Secretary to present the results of the voting for the approval of the audited financial statements for the preceding fiscal year.
Mr. Chairman, we are pleased to report that stockholders representing 81.57% of the total outstanding shares of the corporation have approved the audited financial statements of the corporation for the preceding fiscal year as presented. The report of the President is hereby also duly noted.
The report of the President is accordingly noted, and the audited financial statements for the preceding fiscal year are hereby approved as presented. We may now go to the election of the members of the Board of Directors. May I request the Corporate Secretary to read the names of the incumbent members of the Board of Directors.
The incumbent members of the Board of Directors are Mr. James L. Gold, Mr. Lance Y. Gokongwei, Ms. Rubina Y. Gokongwei, Mr. Ian James Winward McLeod, Mr. Samuel Sam Yoon Kim, and the independent directors are Mr. Antonio L. Do, Mr. Roberto R. Romulo, and Mr. Rodolfo Pina.
Thank you. May we now have the list of nominees for election to the Board of Directors and the voting results.
Mr. Chairman, in accordance with the nomination process stated in the bylaws of the corporation, the following have been nominated as members of the Board of Directors. Mr. James L. Gold, Mr. Lance Y. Gokongwei, Ms. Rubina Y. Gokongwei, Mr. Ian James Winward McLeod, Mr. Samuel Sam Yoon Kim, and as independent directors, Mr. Antonio L. Do, Mr. Roberto R. Romulo, and Mr. Rodolfo Pina. There being no other nominations, the affirmative votes in favor of those nominated have been tabulated, and the following are hereby declared as the duly elected members of the Board of Directors of the corporation for the ensuing year until their successors shall have been elected and qualified. Mr. James L. Gold, Mr. Lance Y. Gokongwei, Ms. Rubina Y. Gokongwei, Mr. Ian James Winward McLeod, Mr. Samuel Sam Yoon Kim, and and as independent directors, Mr. Antonio L. Go, Mr. Roberto R. Romulo, Mr. Rodolfo Pia.
Let us move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the appointment of the external auditor of the corporation. May I call on the corporate secretary to present the results of voting for this agenda item.
Mr. Chairman, the accounting firm of CSIT Goris Velayo and Company has been nominated as the external auditor of the corporation for fiscal year 2020. After tabulation of the votes, the appointment of CSIT Goris Velayo and Company as external auditor of the corporation has been approved by stockholders representing 81.59% of the total outstanding shares of the corporation.
Thank you. The accounting firm of CSIT Goris Velayo and Company is hereby appointed as the external auditor of the corporation for the fiscal year 2020. Let us proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is the ratification of the acts of the board of directors and its committees, officers, and the management of the corporation. May I call on the corporate secretary to present the results of voting for this agenda item.
Mr. Chairman, the list of acts for ratification of the stockholders are shown right now on the screen. Copies of the said list have also been distributed to the stockholders present by showing the link and QR code to the said list on the screen prior to the meeting. After tabulation of the votes, we are pleased to report that stockholders representing 81.57% of the total outstanding shares of the corporation have confirmed and ratified the acts of the board of directors and its committees, officers, and the management of the corporation for the period beginning from the last annual stockholders meeting up to the current stockholders meeting as duly recorded in the books and records of the corporation.
Thank you. The acts of the board of directors and its committees, officers, and management of the corporation for the period beginning from the last annual meeting of the stockholders up to the current meeting of the stockholders, as duly recorded in the books and records of the corporation, are hereby confirmed and ratified. We will now respond to questions which were earlier submitted via email. The questions will be answered by our President and CEO, Ms. Robina Gokongwei-Pe.
We received two questions from Mr. Mark Canizares, Vice President and Head of Equities of Manulife Asset Management. The first one is, what changes in your operations do you plan to implement post-ECQ as we move into the new normal?
We will continue to operate by observing two important parameters. First, we safeguard the health and well-being of our colleagues by implementing a work-from-home arrangement for our support services and requiring the use of face masks for our store and DC frontliners. Second, we are laying down the groundwork for e-commerce and digital processes.
The other question is, are there new initiatives to tap e-commerce as a way to augment revenues while we have yet to find a cure or a vaccine for COVID-19?
We are currently working on putting up our new e-commerce site for our formats.
Thank you. Are there any other matters to be taken up for the consideration of stockholders?
There is none, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I wish to announce that on May 13, 2020, the board approved a regular cash dividend in the amount of 1 peso per share to stockholders of record as of June 3, 2020, which shall be paid on June 30, 2020. This ends the 2020 annual stockholders meeting of Robinsons Retail Holdings. A link where a replay of this meeting may be viewed shall be made available at the website of the corporation. Thank you very much for joining us.